What's going on, everybody? This is Dante Feenix, the FEENIX. You know how it is. We're back on another session, part 2 of the lifeguard. Okay, here where we talk about mental, emotional, physical, getting yourself together in a spiritual sense for the next level of life. We have sleep apnea, we have high blood pressure, we have all types of physical, mental, emotional anxiety, things that happen to us all because we are spiritually not where we need to be for ourselves, okay, whatever that means for you. Okay, again, joining us will be, we had to invite him back, you know what I mean? His name is Atlas, ATLAS, if you missed the last show. This brother offered up some great knowledge about the Bible, about permissibility, about life, about everything. Okay, again, we don't want this to be seen as religious at all. We just want it to be seen as something we all need. And I hope that we're speaking to you about it in a plain state, in a way that makes you feel comfortable, because we are just normal guys. Today's topic is real easy, and it's not easy at the same time. It's women, okay? Women, okay? You know, your journey through women in life as a man teaches you a lot about yourself. That's what I've learned in being an older guy. It was less about them and more about understanding me, so that I could have a nurturing relationship at the age I am now or sooner. Ultimately marriage. That's how most people saw things, how I saw it as a Christian. But, you know, again, the Bible says no fornicating, things of that nature. So we kind of mess it up ourselves, guys. So what I want to say about women today is that let's go with the Bible. Let's start with the Bible. A good woman is hard to find. Another way to say that from a Bible standpoint would be, because that's not in the Bible, but the Bible would say it this way: he who finds a wife finds a good thing. There are many women defined in the Bible. The Jezebel, the harlot, the adulteress, all through Proverbs and all through the Bible. And then there's this one woman that's described as the wife. She's hard to find among all these Jezebels, harlots, and whoremongers, and all these things that you find in the Bible. Now, you know, again, I look at the Bible as a textbook more so. You know, a learning tool. I mean, I take it for real. So at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, that is exactly what I've seen in my life. How about you, man?
I mean, definitely.
You know,
I can agree. 100%.
So, and you know, as men, we're the convenient bad guy all the time. But we want to get a woman's opinion, so we're going to have a very powerful young lady call in here, a special guest, along with a married man that is also was a retired police officer and currently living his dream in production and things of that nature, has a functioning good marriage. So we want to ask, you know, how do we get from one place to the next, okay? But first, let's take advantage of our time with the ATLAS, man. Give me a little bit, you know, we want to get to the other people, but give me a little bit on your experience with women.
Well, first, let me put my glasses on, because this seems like it's going to be a deep...
You can't hit a man with glasses, right?
So, my experiences with women, I first will have to say that women will always be a reflection of yourself, right? So chances are you're attracting at that particular moment, you know, where you are in your life. First, I'll put that disclaimer out there first, you know, so the ladies won't think I'm beating up on them. But
we don't want to do that. right. They need to hear the real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for real. I mean, this is what we really think. You know, I mean, you know, I know we always take the gentleman role as men, but women would argue that we don't perform like gentlemen when we get into tough times with them. You know, I mean, the point blank with me, if I had anything to summarize women, I want to see if you can do the same thing. My experience with women is they always have an agenda.
Sure.
You know, I'm going out and I'm being, hey, I'm a nice guy, we're having fun, we're dancing and everything, and they have an agenda. You don't realize that until you've dated them a couple times, and they're saying, okay, well, what are we doing? Are we going to be, you know, are we going to be engage? Are we going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? And I've always known women to do that, and I'm like, wow, we're having fun or whatever. But again, if I cross the line of sex, I realize why she's asking that. But at the end of the day, in a relationship, you go from a woman wanting to be your girlfriend to them wanting to live with you to them wanting to have a kid. What are we doing? You get that argument every so often, and you never get praised for the lines you already crossed. Hey, you said you wanted to live together, we live together. You said you wanted to be my girlfriend, you're my girlfriend. Right. Hey, now we got a kid together. Yeah, it's we like need to be married. It's like, well, Dad, what happened to the last line I crossed? Right. So now we're married. You got everything, and guess what? I'm not good enough. You need more money. You need everything. So I never met a woman that was satisfied, and I ran the whole gambit all the way to marriage. And I think most men would say that. And I'm like, okay, well, where is the pouring into me? Where's the pouring into me? I've seen that a lot of women do better. I was
gonna say right, but that's the wife, the one that's pouring in, right? That's the
you would think because that's because you keep waiting to get yours.
Right.
You're waiting to get what you're waiting to get. You're waiting to get the recognition of, hey, okay, well, man, I got a good man. I got a good man. We boyfriend and girlfriend. We together. You never get that. You get, well, why are we not living together? Why you live over there? I live over here. So then now we live together. Hey, he's a great. Oh, hey, what's going on, baby? I'm so happy we live together. You never get the point where they're happy with that. That's what I hadn't got. I had not received. You know what I mean? And I can say that the girlfriends confirm those things. And I just don't know. I mean, I don't really see a woman that's following her man, or they want to leave, and I can't have that. I realize what type of man I am right now. I need to lead because I will lead us to a point of contentment for myself and for her. I've never seen contentment out of the woman.
Sure. Well, like you said before, I think that mostly everything we're doing within that situation, the relationship, or whatever it is to appease, that woman. It is to appease that woman, because if she stopped for a moment and asked you what it was that you wanted, I think the picture of that relationship or whatever the situation is, it would look totally different. It would change. I think that we give into, their picture because we're getting maybe slightly something that we want, or maybe a piece of something that we want, but I think that we sacrifice what the real picture looks like to us.
But we want the sex.
Right. So take sex. Right. So say for sex forever, right? So we're giving up. If I can place a percentage on it, about 75% of our lives, or what our lives look like to us, or the way we would live it, or the way it looked like incorporating that woman, for that 25%, which is the sex. So I do believe that it's that the relationships and situations are driven and controlled by women these days, in more current times. But I also do believe that as a society, this is what we're taught,
Again, when you get into the Bible and the role that a man should play and the role that a woman should play, we've messed that all up, so on the back end to say, hey, well, why is she like this? Why is she argumentative? That's the contentious woman. Why is she contentious? That's what I found, the woman that goes through the motions and gets the guy right where she wants him, and to the point of marriage where now she's married. He feels like he's checked off all the boxes. Now she becomes contentious. Withholds sex from you. Withholds sex. You're walking on eggshells because you don't want to disagree with her, or you guys have an argument, because then when she goes to bed, she's gonna be like, no, I'm not. No, absolutely not. But she's cut off your every other supply of sex or anything, of intimacy and everything. And sex is really big for men. It's really big for me. But men don't want to admit that, because we get so scared from bending to a woman's ideal that we're scared to say how important sex is. You know who does tell you though? The single woman. The single woman knows everything about you, but when she goes to that transition to the married woman, which used to be the single woman, it's like she's got amnesia. I'm not scared to be viewed as the bad guy because I'm trying to get understanding. I want it to make sense, and maybe some men say that that's wanting too much because, when emotions are involved, sense isn't usually made. We got abortions, we got all these different things, and at the end of the day, I don't think women are very accountable. He got me pregnant. You could have told him to wear a condom. Sure. You never told him to wear a condom.
Sure.
Matter of fact, you didn't want him to wear a condom. You know why? Because you thought the baby was going to change something, in a dynamic in your relationship. Yeah. And a lot of times it do, but it don't. Now he's pressured to do what you wanted him to do in the first place, and he flees. So now we got a lot of single mothers. Sure, it's not right, but the woman plays a role in her own destiny as well. Now she's bitter, and now the next guy, and the next. It's just a cycle, and I just want to get a good woman. I just want a woman that believes in the wife again, as it's defined by the Bible. You have to know that. You have to know that. You have to embrace that. But let me ask you, is there a wife out there? This society doesn't promote it. It doesn't promote what the wife is in the Bible. It's defined as a helper. The man is the head. Check this. It's in your Bible. God is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. You say that to some women, and boy, this is it's a fight. So, according to that standard in the Bible, because see, you can't be married unless you go through the Bible. You're going through the Bible to get married. So, how can a woman take that stance on the Bible and everything and not be the depiction that's in it?
Well, first and foremost, you have to believe what you're reading. You have to believe it.
You gotta read it too.
Right. You first got to read it, then you got to believe what you're reading. Because if you read the Bible and you think they're just fairy tales, then you'll just take that particular section as a fairy tale as well. But if you're reading it and you're believing it, and your life is reflecting it, then you're gonna get the wife out of that. You're gonna get that.
But do we?
We don't. I think we just don't do it. we just don't do it.
So let me invite a man in here. Okay. Actually, before I do that, we're gonna go to a caller and get a woman's opinion on this. Okay. And both Ed Lass and myself will ask her questions. And you'll hear whatever you hear. That's what makes this hot, okay? So hold on. We're about to give her a call, and I'll introduce her. Hey everybody, what's going on? We're back. Okay, we did the little time lapse thing, a little page peel for those of you who know video. We're here with our guest, special guest, Jennifer Hudson. No, not that Jennifer Hudson. We're talking about Jennifer Hudson, the founder of Passport to the Future nonprofit, and I guess you would call it, digital manager for Tony Yayo, G Units. Tony Yayo, she's flying all over the world with G Unit, with Tony, setting up everything and just recording it. Everything you see on Tony Yayo on the digital platforms, hey, that's Jen. We got her right here. Very powerful, very strongly, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, I'm so nervous. Strongly opinionated woman, young woman, Jen. How you doing, Jen?
I am great. How are you, Dante? And I am Tony Yayo's social media manager.
Okay.
For lack of better words, or correct job title or terminology.
Hey, social media manager. I'm terribly sorry. I just see you everywhere. You're such a great representation. We're talking about men, and is why it's so hard to find a wife as is described in the Bible. A good wife, a wife is hard to find. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. The rarity of it, and and getting the opinions. I mean, I want to weigh in and get a female's opinion, a career-minded female, a powerful female, a female that's thought-provoking, college-educated, Towson University, TU, you know. So she checks off a lot of boxes. And you're single, right?
Yes.
All right, she's single. Okay. Jen's on the cover of my.
Technically, we're all single until we're actually married.
Tell me married. Yeah.
But I am dating and I am involved with someone.
Okay, dating and involved, but we trying to jump that broom one day, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. So what makes you a catch? And we'll go from there.
Oh, that's kind of a hard question. I really never looked at myself as a catch. I just consider myself to be a good person.
Okay.
You know, when you put the whole cliche behind the word or phrase, I'm a good catch, anybody, in my opinion, can be caught. It's just whether or not if you're worth being kept.
Not being thrown back. Well, but let me ask you this. What problems do you think a man has? I mean, you have girlfriends. You've been in tumultuous relationships just like I've been and everybody's been in. But so rarely do we take what we need to take from those tumultuous relationships that basically our end of it, where we could improve. Why do you think a lot of men feel like, you know, again, they can't be in a relationship with a woman where they're leading, where they're in a space where their masculinity is respected and appreciated and loved?
So you're asking me why can't men be in a relationship when the woman has masculine energy, or when
I like your
respect?
I like yours better.
Energy that the man supposed to lead by, per se.
Yeah, I like yours better than mine. Yeah.
Okay, so I can consider myself to be a dominant female. I don't want to say alpha, but it's more of a fear of intimidation in a sense, because, you know, like most species on Earth, the men are the dominant species. So when a woman can come off dominant in a sense, it can be a turnoff for some men. And sometimes it can also be a great thing for the man to have a dominant woman, because, you know, if there's two forces in a household, I think you can move together with, you know, two dominants, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. If you say, I was going to say that, I'm glad you said that. There's no such thing as two dominants, because that's the definition of dominant. I can be strong and you can be strong, but if one is, you can't use the word dominant, because dominant means the other one is the recessive. So you can't have,
absolutely,
you know, so, and I think that's but I think you touched on a great point, that we seek to have that. A lot of women seek to have that. Where my opinion is this, is I have a driver's license, you have a driver's license. We're both in a car, but only one can get behind the wheel. I actually enjoy my wife driving. I'm not going to sit there and fight her over the wheel. I'm going to put my seat back, because I know she's just driving this trip. It doesn't mean she owns my car. Doesn't mean I got to let her keep my keys and everything. You know, and I think that's an uncomfortable place sometimes for women that consider themselves dominant women, that I'm driving on this trip. I got the keys. I'm going to steer the car where I wanted to go. No. You know, because even when you're in the chair, they're still telling you where to go. So that's like a fake a lead. That's like a fake leadership, because if you're telling me where to drive the car, then it's just for I mean, we can go on this topic all day. It's just for looks. I'm talking about a man that really, the woman literally says, well, whatever he says, you know, it's good. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of men, including myself, that have said, well, you know, talk to her. Whatever she says, I'm going to do. I'm going to go with that. Not because I'm recessive, but because I agreed that we're going to be on one accord. I think that my experience with a lot of women that I've dated, and I like those strong women. I won't say dominant, I'll say strong women. I want a pit bull, but I don't want the pit bull to bite me. I think the ones that consider themselves strong, that decide to battle me for things, are really just scared. They're scared that my leading any sense of the word in any extent means that they are weak. And that's not true. I don't feel weak if you make a decision. You shouldn't feel weak if I make the decision. You know, at the end of the day, we're one, and it doesn't look good as a team. You know what I mean? We look bad as a team.
Well, if a woman feels bad for something that you're supposed to make a responsible choice or decision for, then that's something that the woman has to deal with. I think that's something that woman lacks. That has nothing to do with the man.
Wow. You got a question for her? You know, ask her your questions you have.
Oh man, it's such a deep
Before you do that, let me bring in a married man over here. Would you come on in? We got a guy, I'm sorry, he's a retired police officer, happily married. Oh my goodness, we was at a studio.
Beautiful thing.
We were talking and everything, and his wife came down here with a plate of food and said, we talked about this now. You're not going to work through dinner now. So she gave him the food and asked us if we wanted anything. I didn't know what she was. I've never seen one before. What planet is this? But this is a lucky guy right here. I'm going to step out of the shot so you can get in here. All right, Miss Jen, go ahead. This is my man. Let me introduce him.
Hello.
All right. Actually, introduce yourself.
Hello, Jen. I'm L. Lance Mills. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great.
This is the humble guy. This is Lance. He's a retired police officer. That's long gone. He owns a production house, production studio, cameras. $5,000 camera, brother. I don't know. At the end of the day, he does it real big. He's an actor. He's been in a couple features. And so he's living the good life to us.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
What do you think about what Jen had to say about women and everything?
That's a powerful statement. Which I agree to a certain extent as far as the dominant role. I was brought up Catholic.
Okay. And
raised with both parents, so. My dad has always been the dominant one in that relationship as I grew up. So in my marriage, I've been married almost 20. I don't want to say the wrong number.
20 something.
Exactly. Thanks. 20 something years. So I'm dominant in my marriage, especially when it comes to finances. Because finances put a hurting on us a long time ago, and we had to straighten out some things.
You're stronger their expertise,
Right. Yep. We had to use my expertise with finances. I had to let her know that because we had some serious problems that we needed to get out of, and I have to be the one dominant about finances because finances can really destroy a relationship. It destroyed a past relationship for me a long time ago.
Now this is what I noticed,
Right.
Jen. You check this out. At last too, listening to him and being a married man myself, his definition of dominant is coming off in a way that a woman would like. Meaning not about finances alone, because money, okay, you can be dominant on finance. It is literally saying responsibility. That's what I get when I hear dominance from him. I have to be dominant on finance. And you know, ladies, I definitely have to say that is a perk of having a dominant male. And he's very mild-mannered, as you can hear. Every dominant man ain't yelling and beating on his chest. Right. He just knows when to stand up. Would you agree, Jen?
No, I absolutely agree with it. And when I was speaking, I was actually going to imply what he stated as far as, women and men being dominant in different areas of their relationship. I definitely think the man has always been the dominant one when it comes to finances because, of course, dating back, men always had a higher wage than women, and men also had more opportunities as far as jobs and careers. Now it's transitioning a little bit. And women are starting to make a lot more money, and women are starting to grow.
But they did that by pushing the man.
But I was right. So as I was gonna ask this, well, you saying that, I was gonna ask you, do you feel like that makes women now respect men less? Because so now, I mean, and it gets very deep, coming from the criminal justice system and everything. If I can say, which is true, black men have like a very huge disadvantage, in our society as far as economics and thriving, due to them being targeted and just not being given opportunity. So they're more apt to give the black woman more opportunity, and in different things like assistances. But the assistances that they give state that they can't receive assistance from black men. So therefore, it's going to elevate you, and it's going to push that black man down.
It's going to push the relationship with a black man down.
Right.
You can't have. It's saying you can't have one and get this money.
Right. So now that as a woman, you have fought for the equality and to get the resources, and they have systematically gone against the black man and suppressed him. Now that you are more successful than that black man by a more recent design, do you think that makes black women look at black men will not respect them? I'll say that, not respect them, or
less of, in a sense. Do I think that black women look at black men as being less of, since we're now career thriving ourselves?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
My personal opinion, I don't look at any black man as a lesser man, because to me, of course, they say the cliche of all men are equal, but I do believe all men are equal, and it's just dependent upon the opportunity you choose to take. I understand what you stated as far as black women receiving assistance, but there are plenty of black women that are out here like myself that have never received government assistance in my life because I don't have children. So I've struggled just as much as the next person has, regardless if it's male, female, black, or white, honestly. Now, do generation do my generation and the generation that's behind me, will they look at black men as having less because they're becoming more successful? Yes, there is an open space for women.
Did she say yes? Wow. All right.
Unfortunately,
wow, that's true.
Yeah,
with my
it is
generation
unfortunate, definitely.
and the generation that's behind me, which are your 20-year-olds
that
are in college right now,
you know what?
And, or that are working, or career-oriented women.
Yes.
They do tend to look at their peers as if they're less than them.
And they also date older men too. I've never had so many young girls come at me in my life. I'm like, I'm not a sugar daddy at all.
I think part of that problem is social media.
Woo!
Oh man! Oh wow!
I don't want to say it's social media because now you can see everything. At first you couldn't see everything. Like I jokingly, like a few of my male relatives, and they would say, well, I'm going to get me a woman from another country because American women, you all just don't get it anymore and don't have the respect anymore. But you know what I told those men in my family?
What?
You can go to another country and get another woman that you think will have more respect for you. But what you have to understand is it's not like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. They have cell phones and computers as well, and they're going to go on a computer and look and see an American lifestyle they want to live. And if you're not living that American lifestyle, they're not coming over here.
But I would say this, which brings a question, for myself. I guess what's to say about, the way they're raised culturally, right? So say I just came back from Jamaica, and culturally in Jamaica, the way young women are raised is a lot. I'll use this term because I feel like it's very broad. I'll say a little bit more docile, or I'll say I'll just use that. I'll use that, not as I guess I'll go with that term, right? I'll go with that term. Whereas I would say American black women sometimes can be very aggressive, or they can be very I would say combative on some type of on some subjects or some.
Don't choose your words.
Yeah, right. I don't want to choose. But I don't want to make it sound like a bad session, or like I have a problem with American women, specifically myself. But what I'm saying is, culturally, women are raised differently in different countries. So my thing is, yes, she can get a computer and she can get a cell phone. Once she gets to America and she can see the way American women, the way they live and the interaction between the men and women. But I think that they would look at that and look at the differences or look at the extremes in that. I don't necessarily know that they would now change or revert from the way they were raised culturally in their country to now mimic the behaviors or the way that black women were raised in this country. Some will maybe, but
100%. Women have cell phones and computers in every country.
But is that influence?
It's the poorest of the poorest countries that have that. But what you're saying is that you don't think that they would change. My opinion, in having friends that came over from different countries, I've had girlfriends that come from Africa. I have girlfriends that come from the islands. I have girlfriends that come from Europe, and guess what? They're still living the way they were raised for about maybe a year or so until they get acclimated to the States, and they change. It's not just they're changing and following the black woman lifestyle. They're following the American.
I can agree with that.
Let me chime in here. So, and the reason I want to chime in is to pose the question that, wow. So I'm listening to what Jen said, and I'm listening to what Ed says, and this is it forms a question, and that's the point that we need to be at is people. You mean to tell me that you can be raised by your dad in a household? Because most of these countries, even poor, the man, especially poor,
right?
The man, the man definitely runs the household. Those African, the Europes, and all this stuff, and like Jen said. With that cell phone and coming over here to America, it only takes 2 years to undo all that tradition.
Wow.
It only takes. That's crazy to me.
A scary thing.
That's scary.
Absolutely.
So where's the point?
And I'm saying it because I watched it, and I didn't just watch it happen last year. I've had girlfriends come over here at the age of 17, 18, 20, and cell phones were out, but it didn't have the type of
they were like smartphones
that it gives you now. But even back then, 15 years ago, when these girls were teenagers coming here to the States, by the time they were 20 years old, they wanted to pursue the American woman lifestyle. They no longer wanted to pursue their cultural lifestyle. And to be honest, these young girls come over here because they don't want to live that lifestyle they live back home. If they wanted to live one girl told me, if I want to live the lifestyle that I live back home, I would have stayed home.
Well, let me say this. Let me chime in for a bumper. This is part 2, guys, of the interview and the session. I went straight into it. I didn't intro it or anything. This is our last session. Got a little long, but we couldn't stop the topic. So this is part 2 of the last session. Jen, I definitely want to extend this invite to you to come on the show and actually revisit this topic in person, along with doing a little a kicker for your, maybe I can entice her a little more. Kicker for your nonprofit, Passport to the Future, Tony Yayo, and the whole nine, and the social media platforms. We can get you to speak on this topic though, because around here you the star now. Look at this. You got 3 guys glued to the phone. Would you come back? Would you come back to be with us?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that, but we have to be short on time, so I'm going to have to check out here. Guys, this is Dante Feenix, the Feenix, the lifeguards. Woo! Look at this, lifeguards. This is what we're here. We're here to give you the things to protect yourself in life. We see you out in that water sinking. We're just trying to have a conversation. We're going to bring Jen back, and we're going to do this face to face. Feenix, thank you to Atlas. Jen Hudson,
Thank
Passport
you.
to the Future. And my man Lance right here, PBL Studios. Peace.